Tale of the national bird. At that time, there were two close friends, Quack and Nyan. They are all children of poor families and are both orphans. Quack has learned more than his friend. He is a teacher teaching children. Although the benefits are not much, Quack still often helps Nyan. On the other hand, Quack was once seriously ill. Without his friend's medicine day and night, it would have been difficult for him to survive. After that, because of their livelihood, the couple had to separate. While Quack lived a life of teaching children, Nyan also wandered to strange areas to work as a hired laborer. After a period of wandering, he eventually worked for a rich businessman. Seeing that he was honest and hardworking, the rich merchant was very trustworthy. Not long after, Nyan was given his daughter by a rich businessman. Nyan's wife has many things of her own. Therefore, Nyan naturally became a rich man with a decent fortune in the area. Rich but not forgetting the elected you. Nyan still remembers the vow, to live and die happily together, with Quack. Nyan took the time to look for him and was happy to see that Quack was still alive. Although Quack was in the middle of his teaching year, Nyan was able to negotiate with his parents to let his child transfer to another teacher and then bring Quack back to his home. Nyan told his family to treat Quack as no different from himself, and not to be late when serving meals. But Nyan's wife's personality is not like her husband's. In the past, she often looked down on the ragged people. And she did not live the same cold days with Nyan, so I did not see the relationship between Nyan and Quack. But seeing that her husband treated guests respectfully, at first she did not dare to say anything. Nyan always tells his wife, "This is the closest person in my life. Without you, I'm not sure I would have lived to meet her." Nyan's wife just muttered, "Clever. Friends with friends. Just sitting and eating is harmful." Gradually, Nyan's wife became annoyed. She was upset because the stranger suddenly came from nowhere and didn't do anything for her family. He just sat on a high bed and ate and drank twice a day. Nyan's wife said it was cool at first, but then she said it out loud. One day that woman was angry with both her husband and guests. "I'm not a godfather, I'm not a debtor, where do I pick them up to worship? When I'm full, I lie down. Well, let's get rid of the monster." Seeing his wife's attitude becoming more and more outrageous, the husband is afraid of losing his friend's heart. On the one hand, Nyan acts to take care of his friend more attentively than before. On the other hand, Nyan's sister coaxes his wife. But the witness's wife still maintains that habit. As for Quack, he understood everything. Twice Quack asked his friend to leave, but Nyan tried to hold back. Seeing his friend's sincerity, Quack lingered for a while. But that day Quack was determined to leave because he had just heard severely insulting statements. Quack thought, "If I don't go soon, I will one day be humiliated by this woman. But if you leave like the last few times, you will be tempted by your friends." One day, while it was still foggy, Quack sneaked out of the house. To save you from wasting time searching, when passing through a forest, he took off his scarf and hung it on a tree branch on the side of the road. Don Quack made his way to another country to return to his life of teaching children. Seeing his friend lost, Nyan Du went to look for him. When he heard that someone had caught a turban in the southern forest, he rushed to see. Realizing that it was his friend's cloth, Nyan felt sorry for him. "I raised you so I harmed you. "You must have been robbed and killed." But then Nyan thought differently. "My friend left without a single coin or word in his pocket, so even if he encountered a robber, it would be fine. This is either a meat-eating tiger or a leopard, and two is lost in the deep forest." Nyan started going into the forest to find Quack. Seeing no bloodstains, he was even more hopeful. Through all the thorns and bushes, through all the bushes, Nyan always calls out, "Mr. Quack! Quack! Quack!" Nyan kept walking, calling forever, wandering around in the vast forest. Until his last breath, that kind-hearted person did not forget to call, "Quack! Quack!" Then the dead person turns into a national bird, also called forgetfulness. Nyan's wife waited forever but did not see her husband return, so she regretted it. One day she ran away from home to find her husband. Finally reached the southern forest. Hearing the sound, "Quack! Quach!" she was so happy she shouted, "Is that you, Mr. Nyan?" There was no answer other than, "Quack! Quack!" Nyan's wife continued to follow the call and gradually advanced into the deep forest. In the end, he couldn't find a way out and died next to a tree. 1. Experience. The story of China's national bird is completely different from our story. According to the book Hon Vu Ky, in the past, there was a king of Thuk named Du Vu who was king with the title Vong De. Emperor Vong appointed Miet Lin as general. Later, Vong De abdicated the throne to Miet Lin and then disappeared, turning into a dead bird, also called a rhododendron or azalea bird, too. According to the Kam Kin, Miet Lin was a servant trusted by Du Vu, i.e. Vong De, to be used as a general. Later, when Miet Lin usurped the throne, Du Vu was angry and regretful, calling out, "Quack! Quack!" 3. Day and night. Later, a fairy appeared and scolded, "Trusting people too much and losing the country, why cry?" Du Vu was so embarrassed that he hid in the bushes. After turning into a bird, whenever he saw someone he would run, sometimes calling, "Quack! Quack!" The Muong people in Hua Bin also have a story about the legend of the national bird that is similar to the Chinese story. The Bok family's lineage in Kim Boi, Luang Shan, Hua Bin continent abstain from eating the meat of the national bird because they consider the national bird to be the descendant of the Shu emperor. But the emperor of Shu here is King Thuk and Duang. He lost his country, died and turned into a bird, always shouting, "Quack! Quack!" In Nagi En, someone told the legend of the national bird as follows. There was a rare couple who only had one son. If they asked for a wife, he would criticize them. After he went abroad to trade and went to Thuk land, the girls saw him and fell in love, including a girl from a Mandarin family. The girl went back to tell her father. The Mandarin ordered him to marry her. The two love each other very much. After a year of marriage, a letter came from home telling him to return. When he returned home, his parents stopped him from going further to trade. He misses his wife more and more every day. Later, it turned into a national bird, always calling out, "Shu country! Shu country!" 4. Southern people tell this story with the theme of friendship, but the image in the story is different. From the story of the northern people above. Once upon a time there was a Cham king named Lawa. Lawa prepared to send troops to attack Viet. A man named Quoc was both a friend and an advisor. He tried his best to dissuade him, but to no avail. Even though he knew he would fail, Quoc also asked to follow him to suffer the same fate. The fighting took place fiercely at Ngong Pass. Lawa was hit by an arrow and died. The country uncle took revenge and finally died. Quoc's soul went looking for Lawa but did not know that Lahoa's body had been taken away by the enemy and disappeared. Unable to find it, he turned into a bird, constantly calling out, "Quoc quoc, Lawa," meaning "This is Quoc, where is Lawa?" 5. The people of the North have another story with the theme of stepmother and son-in-law. There are two brothers. Brother is the son of the deceased first wife. Brother is the son of the second wife. The stepmother hated her husband's son and tried to kill him. One day he told both of them, "Each of you take a bag of sesame seeds to Nam Sun and scatter them. Whoever's seeds sprout will be able to come home to eat, otherwise don't come back." Along the way, resting at the base of a tree, I tried to lift your sesame bag and found it light. Actually, it was because my stepmother had cooked the food that it was so light, so I offered to change it. When he finished spraying, his sesame seeds grew first and were very beautiful. I told you to go home first, but you just sat and waited for me. I don't see my sesame seeds growing and they won't come back. In the end, both died. The stepmother went up the mountain and felt sorry for herself. One day, I heard a bird cry, "So miserable. So miserable. Mom, you 9 sesame seeds harmed me." That's my biological child who turned into an azalea bird. 6. First. According to Trung Bac Sunday, 1943. 2. According to Boy Van Van Phu. 3. Quoc means country. 4. A declaration of folk tales, plants, birds, ghosts. 5. According to Le Van Phat. Fairy tales and legends in Annam. 6. According to Trung Bac Sunday, 1943. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.